You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk, or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
Keep on doing what you do, Rick. You're my favorite host. Favorite host.
You know this freedom is anything but free. What we have here depends on those who will fight for what they believe. When we stand together, there's nothing that we can't achieve. This nation of people standing as one in the name of liberty.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. I know you guys are like, wait a minute, this isn't how this show usually opens. That's because I have a co-host tonight, so we do things a little bit differently to give us more time to talk. So things are a little bit different on this one. I have somebody with me. You maybe have noticed lately on Thursdays we do things a little bit different most of the time. I have my host, Social Claude, with us again this evening. We have lots of things we're going to be talking about, but at this point, since you guys usually tune in and hear me talk a lot unless I have a guest, I'm actually going to turn the mic over to him at this point and let him open the show. So good evening, Claude. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I am, well, I don't know. I'm here. I spent most of yesterday in Twitmo, which has never actually happened to me before. Apparently, using the word moron is frowned on the Twitter website.
Yeah, and especially if you're a conservative.
Pretty much, because I can be called a pedophile, and those people never get in trouble. But I call somebody a moron, and I spent 13 hours in Twitmo.
I can testify for a fact that being called a pedophile with no justification other than, somebody doesn't like me politically has happened. I've complained about it just to see what would happen. And guess what? Nothing happened.
Kind of like when people were threatening to shove me in ovens during the primaries, and nothing happened with him either. But I call somebody a moron, and I have to delete 3 tweets and spend 12 and a half hours in Twitmo. For those of you who don't want to know what I'm talking about, Twitmo is Twitter's basic timeout. So it can be anything from your account being completely shut down. You can have limited access, which is what happened to me. All I could do was send DMs for like 13 hours. I couldn't even send anybody any pictures. And basically, if I tried to do anything that was restricted, all I got was this little pop-up that says, remember, we've restricted your account access. This is how much time you have left until it goes back to normal. So I showed everybody, because I couldn't on Twitter, because I couldn't share pictures. So I have a group text of a lot of people that I actually tweet with, because, in case one of them can't get on Twitter, I can still bug them, because, they're friends. So I showed them the pictures of what it was that I tweeted. And they're like, what the hell? And I'm like, I don't know. And then we started looking, and the only thing I could think of is I think the first one that got me tripped was there was one where I called somebody a moron. The word Muslim was in there, and the hashtag derp was in there. So I think what happened is I tripped an algorithm, and then it started looking for the word Muslim or moron, because those were the only common threads among all 3 tweets, was it either had the word Muslim in it or the word moron. So I think
next time instead of Muslim, just put Christian and you'll be okay.
Yeah, well, maybe. Or I could just misspell Muslim or, call them towelheads. I don't know.
Yeah, certain, I think that Twitter is basically and Facebook have become the animal farms of the internet.
Well,
yeah.
I'm just going to say, if you really stop and think about it, though, they've pretty much always been the animal farms of the internet. Now they're just the unruly animal farm of the internet.
Yeah. Well, you survived your stay in Twitmo, and I hope the food wasn't too bad.
Dude, they served me this green bologna on stale bread. No, I'm just playing. That's Oklahoma County Jail. Don't ever go there. But anyway, so, I don't know. It was an interesting experience, and honestly, I thought I was going to get in trouble, like, from the jump again, because, you know, one of the things that broke last night, while I was in Twitmo, was Jurassic-era Barbie, a.k.a. Nancy Pelosi, going on her little mini rant about concealed carry reciprocity, talking about how it was going to make domestic abusers, make it easier for them to carry guns across state lines, and all these other things that were completely atrocious. So one of my first tweets out of the gate, you know, because I hadn't learned my lesson or anything, was, hey, hey there, you're drunk. Jurassic-era Barbie, go home. You don't know what you're talking about. And then so 20 minutes later, I start getting people tweeting me going, hey, why can't we see this tweet anymore? And they've got a screen capture of it. And it's like, did you delete it because you said you're instead of Y-O-U-R? And I said, no, I did that on purpose. So then I'm like, oh, patiently waits for Twitmo announcement. Never came, though. And then I went back and looked, and I could still see the tweet. So I don't know. I think what had happened is somebody probably flagged it as offensive. So Twitter has this new setting now where if you've basically got it set to where if you tell it to monitor or restrict offensive content, if anybody marks anything offensive, if you have that setting set, you can't see it anymore. So the system acts like it's been deleted. That's the only thing I could think of, but I kept waiting for the announcement. The funny thing is, the thing that put me in Twitmo yesterday was from like 4 flipping days ago. So who knows? Like by next Tuesday, I could be back in Twitmo again going, I don't even know how I got here. All right, time to bust out the harmonica because I'm back behind bars, boys. But yeah, so anyway, Twitter's not nearly as much fun as it used to be. It really hasn't been much fun since the election, to be honest. Because, you know, the thing about elections before was things would get heated. Everybody would pick up their respective banner, they would march off the war, they would fight for their choice, and then at the end of the election, everybody would put everything down, and things would start trying to return to normal. That hasn't happened in this election cycle, to the point now where we have basically holdouts in every branch of government, in every government agency. We have the media trying to slay Trump at every chance. We have the Democrats just the other day put up an announcement for impeachment again that even Nancy Pelosi said they weren't going to do. I'm so confused by their actions lately. So confused.
Yeah, I believe that the election never ended, and I also believe that what's being uncovered with the Department of Justice and the FBI is kind of just the tip of the iceberg of this. I was hesitant to say this before, but I'll say it now. It really does feel like we're going through like a coup d'etat, and it started with trying to protect Hillary Clinton, and then when she lost, now it moved on to how do we destroy Donald Trump under some insane hallucination theory that somehow he would be thrown out and then, Hillary would be anointed or something. I mean, some kind of weird theory of some kind of or another. But I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, it's I'm still in, campaign mode. It's crazy.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more. We've come up against that time where we got to start paying some bills. So we're going to take a really quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the fact that everything does still really kind of feel like we're in campaign mode and start thinking about why that might be. This is America Off the Rails. We'll be right back here in just about 60 seconds. Stay tuned.
You're out here acting so tough, and now I'm calling your bluff.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org. right, folks, welcome back. So before we took the break, we were talking about the fact that it really does still feel like everybody's in campaign mode. The interesting thing about that is what could have caused that, and I have a couple of different suggestions about where that probably came from. Because let's not forget, one of the reasons why everybody still feels like we're in campaign mode is, remember, Hillary Clinton, when she thought she had this thing in the bag sitting at a debate stage, actually blamed Trump and his followers in the event that he lost for basically admitting up front that they weren't going to accept the results of the election. And even Trump said, well, I'll have to wait and see whether I believe the results of the election. So then we have the shoe on the other foot, and all of a sudden they're breaking things and throwing things through plate glass windows at businesses and everything else. And then a few months later, we have Hillary Clinton put out her book, What Had Happened Was, and the whole time she's doing that, she's talking about the fact that we should have something like Kenya does, where if the results of the election are tainted in somebody's opinion, they should be able to be thrown out and everything should be started over. So one of the biggest reasons that we're in campaign mode is that, not to mention the fact that we have this entire group of resistance, namby-pamby, snowflake morons. Oh, I said morons. I hope Spreaker doesn't kick me off the server. But anyway, so, we have these morons that have it in their head that if they can get Trump impeached, that when they get Trump impeached, it's going to invalidate the entire election. What you people don't even seem to understand is impeachment doesn't even necessarily mean removal from office. See Bill Clinton, who was impeached, and yet still served out the remainder of his term. So even if they can manage to get Trump impeached, that doesn't mean that he's going to be seated. And even if he is, that doesn't mean that the rest of the line of, or the rest of the line, as it were, I can't think of the exact term they use, and I don't want to use line of secession because that makes it sound like royalty, but I know there's another word they use for it. But there's a whole process for that. So next is Pence, then after that it's the leader of the House, and then it goes on down the line. So even if they manage to get Trump out of the way, they have to deal with Pence. For those of you that are on the left right now, you should probably much prefer Trump to Pence. I personally prefer Pence. So please keep pushing your ideas to get Trump impeached, because if it works, Pence, as far as I'm concerned, would probably make a better president in the long run than is damn sure more level-headed, which I'm sorry. I know a lot of people don't like it when I talk negatively about Trump as someone that is a conservative, but I've never hid my disdain for Trump. I don't like it. I don't like some of the things that he did during the campaign to win. I understand he's a slugger. I understand he went in, he broke noses, whatever he had to do. I get that on a verbal level. But at the same time, that's not what I wanted to see. But anyway, I'm talking in this segment more than I intended to. So you have anything to add on that, or do you want to move on?
Well, one thing is that what you were talking about, the replacing Trump, it's called the line of succession. And I
guess I was using the right term.
I think that
for some reason
people would
like
be
royalty.
very, very, very unhappy with the President Pence. He is definitely a social conservative, and Trump is not. I think they would be crazy to want that, and I don't think that people are thinking straight. I think that's part of the problem here. By the way, if this Mueller investigation continues as it is, what could conceivably happen is he comes up with a recommendation to impeach Trump, and the House just rejects it out of hand, saying your investigation was rotten, based on the bias problems and everything else we know about it, and they could just refuse to even deal with it. Or just vote it down. And as you were alluding to, it's a two-step process: impeachment, and then the Senate has to convict. And that's why Bill Clinton was saved. He was saved by Republicans, of all people, in the Senate that wouldn't go along with it. Or I think that's how that worked.
Actually, I don't remember which side of it was that saved him, but I mean the Republicans.
Somebody helped. The
Republicans had the majority at that point, so it probably would have had to have been them.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get to. But yeah, that's about all I had to say about that. So you want to move on to the next topic?
Sure, might as well.
Okay. The next topic is the Democrat and Al Franken dog and pony show. Yesterday, the Democrats actually did something that on the surface appeared to be smart. They finally said, Al Franken should resign, and I actually think that they got some political leverage out of it. And today, that was all thrown out because Al Franken basically did not resign. He basically said he was going to resign in the future, and he didn't say in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks. He just said sometime in the future. So he did a resignation today, and he didn't apologize, didn't admit anything, and then he dragged in, and to me this is sophomoric, he drags in Trump and Roy Moore to his problems. And this guy's a senator. But anyway, I have the feeling that the Democrats are all on board with this. They would put up a front like, we got to get out, and he would kind of get out but not get out, and then Roy Moore is probably going to win. When he wins, they have an excuse to keep Franken in, and which is ridiculous because if he would resign, he'd be replaced by a Democrat governor with a Democrat. And by the way, that's the same thing with Roy Moore. If he wins, and I think he will, if some more things come out and there's an investigation in the Senate, he can resign, and then he'll be replaced by the Republican governor with a Republican. So anyway, my feeling is we're dealing with a massive dog and pony show here.
I mean, the simple fact of the matter of it is this was basically something that was designed to give the Democrats the appearance of moral high ground because they have tried to push Franken out. He says he's leaving. I don't think he ever actually will. But we'll talk about that a little bit more because we have come up to that time again where, unfortunately, it's time to take another break. So give me just 1 second while we get changed back over here because I just realized I wasn't on the right screen because I was reading something. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. We will be back in about 3 minutes. Don't go away.
You're out here acting so tough, and now I'm calling your bluff. Black hoods and no faces.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
All right, folks, welcome back. So we've talked about this guy, I think, just about enough.
I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
Stop electing Saturday Night Live people as your senator, folks. Not a good plan. Wait, that actually sounded a little bit more like Clinton than I intended. I should probably work on that. That was almost a decent Clinton impression. So anyway, so we've got some other things to talk about here. One of the next things we wanted to bring up was the fact that I guess Jim Jordan has actually called for an additional special counsel to be appointed to look into how a FISA warrant was obtained to look at members of President Trump's campaign team. The only logical way to get to the answers for the American people is to appoint a second special counsel. And if the Attorney General is not going to do it, frankly, I don't think he should be the Attorney General, Mr. Jordan, Ohio Republican, said on Fox News. Mr. Jordan wants the release of the application to secure the FISA, and that's a Foreign Intelligence Service Act warrant, for those of you who didn't know, to see if the dossier funded by Mr. Trump's political opponents was used to justify the warrant. Why did we need to see that? Because we already know that it was. They've basically told us that that was the justification to get the warrant. So do we even really need, I mean, you know, not to take this off on a tangent, and then I'll turn the mic over to you, but do we actually need a special prosecutor at this point? Because we already know all this stuff. They've basically told us that they used this trumped-up dossier to get the FISA warrants. We already know this. So do we really need to go down this rabbit hole again with yet another special prosecutor? Because, I mean, the Mueller special prosecution has been less than stellar. The only thing they've managed to do so far is get people on procedural issues that could have been done by the Justice Department in the first place and didn't even require a special prosecutor. We've spent $7 million on this debacle, and we have basically procedural guilty charges that have led to plea deals and have basically yielded no results of collusion. I don't trust special prosecutors. I never have. Even when, I mean, I was a lot younger when it was going on with Clinton, but even back then, I'm like, this isn't how this is supposed to work. A special prosecutor is supposed to be looking for a crime, not trying to invent one. And that's what Mueller's been doing this entire time. Is he's been trying to shape things to fit the narrative to a crime that technically didn't happen, because there is no evidence of collusion. Even if Flynn did what he was accused of doing, that was his job at that point. He doesn't need Senate confirmation. So as soon as Trump offered him the job and he said, "Yes, sir, Mr. President, I'll do the job," then hey, he's part of the transition team. He can go talk to whoever the hell he wants, and there's not really anything anybody can do about it. Anyway, I'm talking too much again, so I'm going to let you have the mic.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this FISA warrant, and if we want to restore a sense of justice, I think we have to view this as kind of the beginning and kind of the creation of the poisonous tree. And I could argue, or one could argue, that the Flynn prosecution and his plea bargain is a direct result of a warrant obtained fraudulently, and he should have never had to make this deal, and he should have never even been questioned. I'm actually surprised that his lawyers haven't, gone back into court and withdrawn their plea deal. If they can do that, in light of all this that's coming out, he certainly, and I called for this before I knew about the warrant. I called on President Trump to pardon Flynn just because of the way this whole thing's been handled. It's almost like he's being scapegoated to, I don't know what they think he knows about, higher ups in the food chain, but I see this guy as a victim here. Yes, he shouldn't have lied to the FBI, but he was set up, entrapped as far as I can tell.
Well, I mean, it all comes back to the problem of, again, this is a procedural issue. He never should have lied to the FBI regardless of the circumstances. I still don't understand why he did that, because if he hadn't done that, they would have nothing. One of the reasons that Trump hasn't pardoned him yet is with this plea deal, this actually frees Flynn up to answer questions that may lead back to some of the things that I mean, you have to understand at this point, as much as I hate to say this, pretty much everything that Trump has said was going to happen after the campaign has happened. The media has been exposed as a bunch of liars. We're finding out that Congress is a bunch of dirty old men who can't keep their clothes on or their anatomy in their pants. We're finding out about a secret slush fund that started with the best of intentions that's basically been used to sweep sexual harassment under the rug. We're finding out about all these things that we didn't know about, while at the same time we're finding out about all of these basically we have traitors everywhere. I mean, you can't say it any plainer than that. These people, like I talked about this with Jen earlier, this Dumbledore's army that's all over one of the government agencies right now, that's basically they're resistance folks that are now using apps to secretly communicate with each other and talking through encrypted text messages because they don't like their new boss, because he was appointed by Trump and they are anti-Trump. We're literally, I mean, it's like you said, we're dealing with, it's not, you can't even really call it a soft coup anymore. Can you imagine if there were holdovers from the Bush administration during the Obama transition and now a year after the Obama transition who were basically secretly speaking to each other using coded apps and secret messages? Can you imagine what the media would have done if George Bush would have followed Barack Obama around to all of his on his world apology tour and gone after him to every place that he had gone? Can you imagine what the media would be doing right now? But Barack Obama shadows Donald Trump on every meeting that he takes so far in the international world, and Barack Obama's a hero because he's trying to save the country because Donald Trump's a madman.
Well, yeah, that's that's the world we're in now, and I think that I'm trying to figure out what the end game here is. I get the feeling that, now you mentioned something off air, that there was a report that you read about, Mueller's investigation out of steam from a publication that's usually, anti-Trump. So I'm wondering if that little tidbit isn't signaling that maybe, just maybe, the two sides, which to me is the Clinton and Obama and their holdovers versus Trump, if they're looking for a way out of this, because it looks like the Democrats could lose big on this. But the problem is, if this is dragged out, it hurts the country. So if I was, advising Trump, I would be looking for a way out. And I actually proposed this months ago, that one thing that Mueller could have done is, and this is a kind of a crazy idea. I don't see how you could actually do it, but I like thinking about stuff. So my idea was that Mueller would set up like a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, like they did in South Africa. Rather than have a civil war, they basically had all the apartheid government people admit their wrongdoing in a public forum with their victims in the room and all this, and it was kind of a catharsis, and it basically prevented
Bloodbath.
Maybe that's something I don't know how you could do it here, but in this circumstance, but something where people, all this stuff could just be put out on the table, and no recriminations, no arrests, no more indictments, no more people's lives ruined. Just get this all out in the open. But I have a feeling that I don't know, people are too embroiled in this battle to see the forest and the trees, and they're not really looking for a way out. I hope there is one.
Well, we'll talk about that when we come back. We've hit the bottom of the hour. We're a little bit past the bottom of the hour, so we've definitely got to take the break. When we come back, though, I have a couple of reasons I think maybe the Democrats are starting to look for an escape hatch on this mess. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. Back in about 4. Stay tuned.
Just don't know what you've been asking for. This means war.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their healthcare. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your healthcare, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your healthcare while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
All right, folks, we are back. We are live. Man, we're already over halfway through the show. Where does the time go? All right, so before we went to break, we were talking about the fact that it seems like all of a sudden the Democrats might be looking for the escape hatch when it comes to this whole there's no other way to put it, but I'll put it in an FCC regulated way. This crap storm they have stirred up with the whole Russian debacle, which hasn't yielded any results. The one thing that we have found, though, is they're now looking at all kinds of things that have happened with the Hillary Clinton campaign, the weird funding thing with the DNC, the fact that when Barack Obama left, the DNC was suddenly broke. All of these things that are slowly starting to come out about the other side of the house. Now we have, because everybody's really starting to pay attention to some things that came out during the election cycle that everybody really didn't talk about at first because nobody believed it. We now have basically the fact that the DOJ is going to start looking into Planned Parenthood's practices of selling off baby body parts like they're working for chop shops. So that's something that's just come out. We have the reciprocity bill that has basically made Nancy Pelosi sound like a raving lunatic. We have the tax plan that has now had Democrats talking like raving lunatics. They're losing on every single front, and all they can do is keep yelling and screaming and kicking and gnashing their teeth. So at this point, they're starting to find ways out of it. It goes back to what I was talking about earlier. This made no sense to me today when I saw this happen, because within hours, The Hill basically puts a spin on a story that was incorrect, and they did eventually have to fix it, when they called Conyers a Republican, and then not 5 hours later, they're putting out an article that basically says the Mueller investigation is dead and they just don't know it yet. And they go into these details about all these things that have happened, but the only thing they've been able to uncover are these procedural things that he was able to get indictments on, or things that didn't have anything to do with the campaign that had happened years before that he was able to get uncovered, and they've gotten nothing from it. No matter where they go, where they chase the rabbit hole, they can't find collusion, but everything keeps coming back to the other side of it. And I think that's one of the reasons why these people are strongly and quickly trying to find a way out of this mess, because they didn't realize the can of worms that they opened when they started talking about this Russia thing. And just to bring everybody back into focus here, because nobody really talks about this anymore, but let's go all the way back to what really started the Russia thing in the first place, shall we? Because there was a little joke that Donald Trump made during the campaign when Comey screwed up the first time and let Hillary Clinton off because, there was no intent. And there's things that we can't find as far as her emails. And Donald Trump pops off, maybe the Russians can help us find her emails. Being Donald Trump, the smart aleck that he is. That was one of the genesis points of this whole thing, was a joke that he made on a microphone. And they thought there had to be something there, but they can't find it. Even when Megyn Kelly, I believe it was... the article I saw about it was from in November, but I think it was from an interview she did a few months prior. When she interviewed Julian Assange, she point blank asked him, why are you, when you're putting out so much dirt about Hillary Clinton and everything else, why are you not putting out any dirt about Trump? And he point blank says, because there isn't any.
I was just thinking what's interesting about what you just said is that basically the Democrats, through the special prosecutor, which they finagled, and the courts, and I'll get to how I'm tying the courts into this in a second, they're taking political speech from President Trump during the campaign, and they're using it against him in totally inappropriate areas of the law. The first example is what we're seeing now, what you just mentioned, I lost my thought. What was he said during the campaign that...
Talking about with the emails? Or what?
Oh, yeah, with Russia, the Russia collusion. It's based on a joke that Trump made. And Trump, during the campaign, this was a blunder, and he was calling for, a Muslim ban, and what he meant to say was, what the ban that he actually asked for, and the court is using that as a basis to prevent him from protecting us. And finally, the Supreme Court is stepping in, and that's all going to go away. By the way, they basically, slap down these lower courts and basically warn them they need to just take a chill pill and stop politicizing speech and using it to prevent the president from performing his duties and protecting us. So that seems to be a common thread here, and I'm really glad we have Trump in office. And one of the things he's doing is he's replacing, the judges that are retiring with conservatives, because these liberal justices are ruling. They're basically legislating from the bench, and it's really disturbing to me that it's manifesting into things like the case we just saw with the Muslim ban or whatever they call it now, and this whole special prosecutor, and I think in the end, if Mueller was to try to pin an obstruction charge on Trump, that it would be very thin. It would cause a crisis in this country. The House would have to address it, and we really don't need to go there. There's so much great things we could be doing, and it's really disturbing to witness this.
One of the things that I want to talk about real quick, and then we've got to get the last break out of the way. Actually, we're not even technically at the last break yet, but we may cut the last one short because it's mine. I got to get one more out of the way for sure, though, because it's a network break. One of the things that drove me crazy since you and I did this show last week was, because we were talking about this time last week, and we weren't sure what was going to happen with the tax bill. Well, sure enough, you were right, and I was wrong. I'm man enough to admit it. I honestly didn't think they were going to get it passed. They got it passed to the point where it's now actually going into reconciliation. But there's some interesting things that have happened, because we had Democrats suddenly talking about, millions of dead people in the streets, and then all of a sudden we had some moron from ABC, when the indictment came out about Flynn, tweaked the story just enough to cause panic, because they started talking about how campaign member Trump had sent Flynn in to talk about the Russians, not President-elect Trump, which honestly, even if candidate Trump had sent Flynn in, it's not that big a deal. Look, guys, collusion, when it comes right down to it, there's only a couple specific places where that's mentioned and that it can be considered a crime. This isn't one of them. That's another thing that nobody really talks about, because, nobody talked about it when candidate Obama started talking to world leaders before he was ever even elected or certified. That apparently wasn't a big deal. So the actual candidate can do it, but one of his emissaries can't? Is that what you're telling me? That doesn't make any sense to me. But what drove me crazy about this was when this story broke, which was last Friday, that basically the stock market tanked. I saw liberals dancing in the streets because the stock market fell 300 points because Flynn was going to be indicted, and the only reason it fell in the first place was because the story was tweaked badly enough that this person was actually suspended to the point where they can't do news for a while. I don't remember how long it is, but I know they got in trouble, and it's bad. So then they, 4 hours later, put out a retraction when everybody's asleep. It's like, well, this is what we meant for it to say, but they don't put it out till midnight when nobody's paying attention anymore. And it astounds me that we live in a country right now where we're watching all of these positive things. We have 3% growth for the first time, and I can't remember when. And now that we have this tax bill going to reconciliation, I'm a firm believer that if we can get that pushed through and get it signed before the end of the year, now it won't do anything for the 2018 filing period, but it will definitely put a nice, big, bright, shiny polish on the 2019 filing period. And it will also probably continue to boost the economy to the point where we might see 4% or higher within 2018. But everybody's so mad at Trump, so angry at Trump all the time, that's all they can see. It doesn't matter what's happening with the economy. It doesn't matter that he's bringing businesses back to America. It doesn't matter that even though it's taking him longer than he thought it was going to, he's doing almost everything that he said he was going to do. They have the mandate dead if this tax plan passes, which is enough to remove the teeth from Obamacare, which, no, doesn't completely get rid of it, but it guts it enough where it's not going to be the painful monster that everybody thought it was going to be. If the tax plan passes, everybody's going to get more money back in their pocket, which gives them the ability to do it. Don't believe the hype, because one of the stories going around right now is 38% of Americans won't see a drastic tax cut. But guess what? That means 62% of Americans will see a drastic tax cut. And guess what? 38% of Americans don't pay taxes in the first place. So how are they going to see a tax cut? Duh.
Yeah, the big one for me is the standard deduction, because we don't itemize, and that's going to be doubled. I mean, that's huge. I mean, that's, I'm not sure exactly how many dollars that translates to, but it's huge. Oh, by the way, I think the suspension was for the ABC News jerk who's had other problems with the truth. It was 4 weeks. And I think that basically the mainstream media, or the fake news as they are now called. As a matter of fact, I saw an ad for something, a product, and they were talking about, they actually used the term fake news in it. So that's become mainstream because of Trump. Basically, the mainstream media has become irrelevant, at least to me and to political activists. I mean, we share information and we dissect their fake news, and we usually do a pretty good job on Twitter of finding out the truth. And this has got to be killing the media and the Democrat. What is one thing to call them? The Democrat media complex, I guess we could call them that. This has got to be killing them. They no longer control the narrative. This Trump bull in the China shop is, I didn't want him to be president, but I'm actually quite pleased right now with what he's done.
All right, well, we've got just about enough time to get the last break out of the way. We'll come back and wrap up the show. This is America Off the Rails right here on KLRNradio.com, where liberty and reason still reign. Back in just a couple minutes.
You bring your sticks, I'll bring gauges.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
All right, folks, welcome back. Well, believe it or not, we are just about out of time. Actually, because it is December 7th, I thought we might want to take a couple minutes and at least talk about Pearl Harbor, because, it is that day. The Remembrance Day for Pearl Harbor, one of the worst attacks in U.S. history. It was basically 9/11 before there was a 9/11. And, it was, 76 years ago?
76.
76, yep. I knew it was right around in there somewhere. Sorry, it's late at night. Math is not my strong suit past 8. Anyway, it is Pearl Harbor Day. For those of you that listened to the first show, I won't make you sit through the speech again, but we did actually, on Jen and Rick, we played the Delano Roosevelt speech about the day that shall live in infamy. If you haven't listened to the whole thing yet, I do encourage you to do it. I only played like 2 minutes and 30 seconds because I can't really get away with playing the whole like 30 some odd minute speech. But if you haven't listened to the whole thing, I do encourage you to do so. I know some of you that are audiophiles are like, but Rick, that are audiophiles. You're like, oh my God, the quality is terrible. Think about the time, I mean, I don't know. I listen to AM all the time, so really the quality doesn't bother me much. But, just think about the folks that lost their lives on this day 76 years ago. Think about where we are versus now where we were then. And, I don't know, just, be thankful for where we are, I guess. And on the way out, I guess I'll turn over the last couple of minutes to you because we got about 5 minutes left. Anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, we were talking off air about Sessions, and right before the break ended, I was going to say that I think Attorney General Sessions is not up to the job at hand. We have, and to quote one of my favorite films, The Godfather, he's not a wartime consigliere. He is. I think he's out of his depth with all that's going on with his own Department of Justice and the FBI, with I'm not talking about the rank and file agents, but some of these administrators trying to, and actually there was one of the agents in charge that's implicated in all this madness. But I really think that we need a reformer to step in. I'll just throw a name out there. It's probably not the right person, but somebody like a Giuliani to step in and clean house. And I was very disappointed with this director of the FBI today who sounded like he was there to protect the agency and not answer the questions. And if that's the case, he needs to go too. I don't know. I'm very disappointed with what's going on and this whole Russian investigation being dragged out. As you said, no results, bupkis. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, I think what will happen is it will probably wind up basically proving nothing, and Mueller will go away in disgrace. There's an interesting story that I just saw that I won't go into too much detail on because I haven't been able to confirm it with another source. But there are now breaking stories about allegations that once FBI Director Mueller and also former FBI Director Comey actually ignored several sexual harassment claims by fellow female junior agents. So if we can find more about that, we'll definitely talk about it at a later time. But as far as that goes, that's going to pretty much do it for this particular episode of America Off the Rails. As we usually do on the way out, why don't you remind folks where it is that they can hang out with you when you're not on the radio hanging out with me?
Yep, you can find me on Twitter. I'm Social Claude, and I follow most people back. So if you follow me, I will follow you back.
All right, and I, of course, am Rick Robinson. You can find me here actually starting next week. This will be the last late-night edition for America Off the Rails. So we're moving to our new time slot. Slightly modified days. We'll be doing Tuesday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you tune in for that. Everything else stays the same, so Jen and Rick will still be at 10 Eastern. Robinson Ride on Friday nights will still be at 11 Eastern. But Tuesday through Friday, we're going to add a show on Fridays. So I'll be doing 2 shows on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, but I get to take Monday off, which is like my worst work day lately, so that's probably going to be good for everybody, because most of the time I'm putting up replays on Mondays lately anyway, and I think I'm actually going to start using that day as more of a writing day, so for those of you who liked it back when I was contributing for folks like American Action News and a few other places, we're going to get back to trying to do that again, at least an article a week, maybe more as we go along. And of course, there will not be a Robinson and Wright tomorrow night. My son's team is playing for the state championship, and I will be in Yukon. Unfortunately, unbeknownst to me, because the playoff game last week was on a Saturday, so everybody told me this one was going to be on a Saturday too, because it's always played on a Saturday, and it's always played either at the OSU or the OU stadium. Well, guess what? It's not Saturday, and it's not at either one of those stadiums. We'll be in Yukon. So there's no way that I'm going to be back in time. So we're going to have to take tomorrow night off. So probably put up a replay, or maybe Ann or Jess can help everybody else figure out something. I'm not sure, because I won't be here to deal with it, because I got to go to Yukon as soon as I get off work. But this has been America Off the Rails. I will be back with you live again next week, starting on Tuesday on our new time at 7 p.m. Eastern. Want to thank my regular Thursday night co-host and a contributor here at America Off the Rails, Mr. Claude, for hanging out with me for tonight. And we will be back before you know it. And I hope everybody enjoys your weekend, since I won't have a chance to say that to you tomorrow night. Thank God tomorrow is Friday. Few short hours from then, and you'll be enjoying your weekend, maybe partaking of an adult beverage of your choosing. This is America Off the Rails. I'm your host, Rick Robinson. We'll see you when we see you. Take care, and God bless.